Morning. This train here, we'll just let it go by, is the 1204. It's just departing now from Chessington South, heading up that way to Waterloo, South Western Railway. We'll just let it roll out. But I'm here, lovely day, sunny day, Chessington South, love the old building over there, disused abandoned platform over there, freight line carries on from the bridge, view down there. I'm here at the invite of SWR. I've kind of got an idea as to what might be going on, but they said, could you come to Chessington for midday? So I arrived on that train, it's just left, and we're going to get the 12:34 out, and I've just been told to be aware of the next train that's coming in. I think I know why. Okay, so I'm excited. Let's just get down, son. All right, the train's coming in, and I have worked out what's going on. Basically, the last time I was at Chessington is when I was going around every station back in 2017, and I told the story here how when I was a small boy, was I like 7, 8 years old, in about 1982, which is when the class 455s were introduced. I'd been to Chessington Model Adventures with my parents on a slam door train, and then the train back was one of these brand new 455 units with sliding doors, and it was in a blue and grey livery, and the driver of the train that day, rather sneakily, they wouldn't do it now, invited me as a young boy to get into a cab, and I had a cab ride as like a 7 or 8 year old inside a blue and grey 455, and what South Western Railway have done, oh, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? They've painted one of their units in classic British Rail inspired blue and grey livery. That is gorgeous. Alright, it is fabulous. No, this has been painted. This is paint, not vinyl, so it's gorgeous, by Bournemouth, not Wimbledon Train Care Depot. This has happened down at Bournemouth. I want to touch it, but I feel like I shouldn't touch it with my greasy hand. That is proper paint, not vinyl. It is interesting to note that the SWR calling it inspired by the original British Rail livery. 40 years ago, you wouldn't have had the light coloured doors there. This sort of suite would have gone all the way through, like the grey and the blue, but modern accessibility regulations do maintain that doors now must be more visible, so that's a nice touch to see, and they've put obviously the South Western Railway logo on the side, just so that customers know it is an SWR train. It's got the double arrows at the front and some golden spanners, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm just going to jump on board and get a quick look in the cab. Okay, I've got permission from South Western Railway to just have a quick sneak inside the cab. Chris, can I employ you as my cameraman? We'll speak to Chris in a minute, but Chris, come into the cab. I've been told I can sit, thanks very much, but I'm not going to touch. Oh, great stuff. And the driver was just saying, driver doesn't want to be on camera, he's saying it's his favourite train to drive. It's like a proper old train. I had friends back on the Metropolitan line when the A stock was running and then the new S stock came in. They said that they liked sort of like the old school technology and the proper handles and that's kind of metal and clunky and stuff, and I've just realised I've got a great view down the track. You can see, is it Tolworth or Borden Manor? No, Chessington North. You can see Chessington North from Chessington South. Okay. We should probably get a shot of what the cab of a 455 looks like. Hey! 40, whatever it was, years ago, 1980, they first came in 82. This particular train, you can speak, Chris, this is unit 455, I want to say 868.
Correct. Was
introduced in 1983. So the first units were 82, but this is from 83. Yeah, and I did get, that was my first ever cab ride. Getting to relive that moment of being in a cab of a train. Wow. It's so cool. Built between 1982 and 1985, there are actually 3 subclasses of the 4.5 train, /7, /8 and /9, which means that there's 109 units in total. These are now slowly being withdrawn, and I chatted to Chris from South Western Railway to try and find out how long they've got to go. So Waterloo service, just having a quick look down the train. It's all red seats nowadays. I remember back in the day they were like low back green seats, so the seats didn't come up this high. They only went to about there, and they were green, and the buttons by the doors were these big sort of black circular rubber push buttons. That was like a proper old 455. But just to ask why they're doing this, I'm just going to casually saunter in here. Morning, Chris. Hello. Please tell YouTube who you are.
My name's Chris Cox and I work for South Western Railway.
Okay, now you've invited me along today to see this amazing livery you've painted onto the 455. Why have you done this?
So, 455 fleet is coming towards the end of its life. They're going to be replaced by our new fleet of Arterio trains soon. And you know, these trains have done many millions of miles on the suburban network.
A lot, right?
Yeah, a lot.
So what, 42 years of service now?
Yeah, so these units were introduced in 1982. This particular one was from 1983.
Yeah.
And we felt we ought to pay tribute to the Class 455s, and they're incredibly popular, especially with our colleagues. Our drivers and guards love them.
Yeah, we're chatting to the driver just now, and he said it's one of his favourite units to drive.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So we thought we'd do something nice, and everyone loves a heritage livery, right?
Okay, yeah, like word has got out because there were some people on the platform this morning taking pictures. So this is now, but this is in passenger service and will be until what? When will the 455s actually be withdrawn, do we think?
Can't give you a definite date right now,
okay.
I'm afraid. But yeah, so this was painted down at our depot in Bournemouth by the team there, who did, I think, a great job, actually.
Yeah, it looks splendid.
We've had some really good feedback for it. The train came back to Wimbledon on Wednesday, having been repainted by our guys at Bournemouth Depot. It's been back in service since yesterday, Thursday.
And intriguingly, you were showing me on your phone just now, it is on real-time trains, so the livery has been sent to real-time trains, and you can actually see that diagram in service. So if people want to find this train and ride this train, how can they find it? Is it going to be on the Chessington branch or all over the network?
So as you say, one of our colleagues was very proactive and gave a copy of the new paint scheme to the person behind real-time trains, and they've made it happen. So yes, when you look for a train and 455868 is running, you'll see the heritage livery. But
will it run to Epsom and Dorking and Leatherhead, not just Chessington? It will be all over the suburban SWR network. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So it'll be out across the suburban network, going to all kinds of places: Hampton Court, Guildford, Woking.
From now on until 455 stop. And it's just, you point out, it's just the 4 cars. It'll be an 8-car set, but it's 4 out of the 8. So it'll be paired up with the classic old red livery.
That's right.
Back there. So it's not an 8-car train. It's just 4 cars. And you said you had something special to tell me.
Yes, I seem to remember you were saying that as a young boy you remembered seeing a 455 for the very first time.
Yes, right? Yes.
And you were quite surprised by the fact that an old slam door train had been replaced by this wonderful 455 unit.
Yes.
And I seem to remember that unofficially...
I can see where this is going,
unofficially, wouldn't happen today.
Yeah, it wouldn't, no.
A driver saw you as a young lad and said, "Do you fancy a cab ride?"
Okay.
What we'd like to do today...
Go on.
...is offer you a cab ride, an official cab ride.
An official cab ride?
Yes, they are expecting you, and we'll take you, well, where are we now? We're just pulling into Tolworth.
Okay.
How about London Waterloo?
So we'll go all the way in the cab? But I can't film,
Waterloo.
can I? Because modern day regulations say so. I'm just going for the ride.
That's correct.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, I would love...
That's all right with you?
I would love to do that. And
excellent.
We're going to recreate my experience from 40 years ago.
Is it that long?
I know. I know. All right, Tolworth. All right, let's nip in the cab. Okay, off the train at Waterloo. It's coming at 13:13. Let's get some pictures. Chris?
Yes.
What's this golden spanner?
So our team at Wimbledon Depot have won all of these awards from the Modern Railways Golden Spanners for their fantastic job in keeping the fleet of 455s running.
Nice.
And so, yeah, someone had the bright idea of commemorating it on the cab ends of the train.
Hang on, I can hear a compressor. Gotta get the noise of the compressor. I'm very glad it's a sunny day as well. If it had been a grey, rainy day, it wouldn't have looked all good. But it's all shiny and new and just, it's great. Okay, it's going back out to Woking at 13:20 and suddenly thinking, where do I go to go and do I go down to Vauxhall or Clapham or something to go and get some more pictures of it? We'll get a shot of it departing, obviously. So my thanks to South West Railway for inviting me round. That's 455868 in classic blue and grey British Rail inspired livery, running all over their suburban services, Chessington, Leatherhead, Epsom, Dorking, all those kind of places between now and until the 455s are phased out, whenever that might be. Thanks for watching, see you again.